अस्सलाम वालेकुम जी, राइज एंड लीड 360 द वंस के साथ मैं हसीब खान आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर हूँ। आपकी मोहब्बत का, प्यार का बहुत शुक्रिया कि आप हमारे इस आइडिया और हमारे इस कॉन्सेप्ट को सराह रहे हैं। बहुत मेहरबानी जी। हमारे लिए एक ही बात हमेशा होती है कि दुनिया नंबर 1 की बात करती है और मैं और मुइज़ जो है वो यहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ ओनली 1 की बात करते हैं। हमारा थंब प्रिंट और आई बॉल दुनिया के 8 अरब लोगों का मुख्तलिफ है, तो आपके अंदर कोई ना कोई ऐसी यूनिकनेस जो है जिसकी वजह से आप को अल्लाह ने भाग लगाए हैं। तो मेरे भी आज की जो मेहमान शख्सियत हैं वो भी ऐसी ही हैं कि उनके अंदर कोई ना कोई एक यूनिकनेस है, जिस यूनिकनेस का हम पता लगाएंगे कि उन्होंने कैसे अपने आप को इन 10-12 सालों के अंदर जितने वो काम कर रही हैं, तो उन्होंने अपने आप को कैसे डेवलप किया, कैसे ग्रूम किया और उनको क्या लगा कि जी जिंदगी जो है वो अपना इम्पैक्ट क्रिएट करने की बात करती है या दूसरों के पीछे भागने की बात करती है। सो जो मेरी आज की द वन है जी, वो है लबीका। अस्सलाम वालेकुम लबीका।
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
How is life going?
It's going, alhamdulillah.
It's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start, Labeeqa. What is the meaning of your name?
It means brilliant, unique, and intelligent.
देखिए नाजरीन, हम लोगों के नाम से ही हम ये कहते हैं द वन होने चाहिए। तो वी हैव गॉट द वन हियर, द यूनिक, इंटेलिजेंट एंड द ब्रिलियंट। इनके साथ लेकिन नाम का भी कोई असर होता है, मुझे लगता है।
It does. I think your name defines who you are, and if you have something generic, then it will make you generic. But if you're able to use it as a means to identify yourself, then it can make you something beautiful. So
Okay. You started up, when you started your career, you said that you wanted to be an economist. And with that, you did your degree in economics from BNU. And after that, now when I'm seeing Labeeqa, so Labeeqa has done a lot, 360 degrees as per our program name. So starting up from economics, then moving on to marketing, then PR, then branding. It's a total roller coaster ride. So I think that this one uniqueness that makes you the one is the diversification that you have. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I do think everyone should be able to put their hands into all categories, because you will not be able to identify what you are or where you fit until you try everything. So I think that's the beauty of the different industries that we have, because there's so much to learn from everything. And every industry that I've been inside, every place I've been inside, every market I've been inside, it has taught me something so unique that I've been able to utilize in my other parts of my life. So, and every new chapter opens up from the previous learning experience. So it's really, really beautiful.
Your years at BNU, how were they? Good?
They were amazing. I had a great time. It was a lot of growth, I would say, a lot of growth, which has led me, down a lot of different paths. But it made me who I am today. So I'm really grateful for the experience.
When it comes to university, when it comes to a teaching place, do you think that universities are doing their job in just exploring the right capability of people?
I would say it's a learning process for both parties, in the sense that as kids and our brains are developing and growing in such different ways because of the new exposures that we have, AI, technology, internet, everything, it makes it difficult for the people that are, handling the learning aspect to be able to understand us to the fullest. So it takes some time, but I do feel like we're getting there slowly. And it is a good process that we have, established up until now. So
I think the people of your age or your generation, they are much more aware of what they want to do in their lives rather than the people like us of the previous century.
I will disagree with that. I don't think my generation knows what we want to do in life.
I was of the view that you are more clear of what you need to do.
I would say that now that there's so many opportunities, no one's clear on what they want to do. Like take me as an example, I'm an economics major, but at the same time, I'm in marketing and I'm in creative. It has nothing to do with my degree, but here I am.
No, but I believe that this is your own initiative, that you wanted to learn about marketing, you wanted to learn about branding, and here you are.
Yeah, eventually.
That there is only one life, and with that one life, you need to get your exposure everywhere.
Yeah, as you should. Everyone should have as much exposure as possible, because For me, I would say I was grateful because I have international exposure as well. But the people staying in one place, do not let that one place hold you down. So there needs to be multiple different areas.
Who
that
was
you
your
can
favorite teacher in PNU?
Hard to say. Very hard to say.
दो तीन लोग वो हो सकता है.
I really enjoyed everyone, to be fair. I can't really say a name because
Okay.
I feel
How
like
was your
everyone.
first job?
Well, my
And
first.
what was the first interview that you got and you got the job? So what was the reaction?
Well, my first job was with Emirates, believe it or not.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I went in for an interview for the marketing analyst. I wanted to be a research assistant for them in the market. And it was kind of nerve wracking because, it's such a big industry that I'm going into, such a big company with such a big name. And the interview was done by the regional head. So, as the CEO of, Emirates of West Africa is interviewing me, I was shaking in my boots. But at the same time, I feel like the confidence, and because I knew of my abilities, that really helped me. And that eventually led me to land the job. And when I got the job, it was really beautiful because everyone was so nice. And I was quite young. I was like 17 at that age.
right.
So,
Oh.
yeah, and it was really good experience because the way they handled me, the way they took care of me, the way they trained me, it was really important because that led me to want to go back into these, spaces again. If my first experience was bad, I don't think I would have wanted to go back into the professional environment that fast. That is.
Oh, one question regarding that, because people normally say your first job matters a lot. So that is what you say, that the job matters. Why? Because the people treated you well and
Yeah.
they gave you those experiences.
Yeah.
What experiences you wanted to, but that would the experiences that would help you in the later year of your lives. So I think that anything that now that you are into a bottleneck, you could refer back to that in that
Yeah.
time there with Emirates, and you find out, oh, at that time, what did my boss say?
Yeah,
on that thing, and that is
exactly.
I can do here.
Exactly. It does like loop in everything together because even now I reference a lot of the situations back then. Like, although I've gone through so many different experiences in the middle of that, I do see that I got the opportunity, the way I got it, the way I was handled, what my boss thought at that moment, what mistakes I was making at that moment, and how sometimes I repeat them now as well. It's like we're human. So as I'm repeating those mistakes, I always hear my boss's voice. It's like, mistakes happen, Labeeqa. It's fine, but we must not repeat them.
Repeat.
And that's what I have to tell myself every time I do make a mistake that is being repeated.
Okay, you started up with your job, and what was your parents' reaction?
They were really ecstatic because initially my dad wanted me to work in the company he was working in, as fathers are. But I was like, no, Dad, I'm going
They're
to do my
more
own thing.
protective of
Yeah.
their daughters, and they say, okay, I'll protect her. And this.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I always say to I also have one daughter. She's mashallah 15. So I always say, okay, you have to have your own experiences in life. I cannot just
Literally.
command you with those experiences.
Yeah.
I just protect you in that regard, that these are the things that would be coming in your life, but you need to see them and you need to just make a decision what you want exactly.
Exactly, because that's how my dad thought as well, and I'm really grateful because my parents were that open-minded. Alhamdulillah, we also lived outside, so it's not like I had typical parents. They were very, very, I would say, respectful of my decisions. As I'll be honest, I wasn't, the most hardworking in school. I didn't really care.
You're the
But
smart work.
the smart working, there we go.
Yeah.
I was smart working because I knew up until IGCSEs I didn't have to put in effort, and nothing mattered before that. And I saw the way my parents didn't push or pull me in any direction. They let me figure it out, and at the end I got all A's. So
Okay.
that's how I'm really grateful for that experience, because if my parents weren't so open-minded, I wouldn't be able to explore the things that I've explored and make something of myself today.
What's your star? Rebecca?
I'm a Sagittarius.
And what is good about Sagittarian?
I think we are very persistent and very adventurous. And, I've noticed one thing about myself. Everyone I'm surrounded by, they're all Sagittariuses. Everyone's born in November with me.
They're born in November and they're adventure.
Exactly. And, I feed off that energy. If I have someone with low energy around me or anything like that, I cannot persist or, pursue anything. It feels like I'm being drained.
Okay, when a person enters a room, can you feel the energy?
100%.
100%? And
100%.
you find out, okay, oh, we'll have a good time here with this energy, and this person will drain my energy too. So you can get along with those things.
You know, if I walk into a room and I sense weakness, no offense, I become a vulture. Like for me, I need to hunt that person. Who is that's like draining me right now and like making me feel so annoyed because I can sense it, you know, and especially around people who aren't productive as much, you know, that really dulls me out. And, you know, I don't like that stuff around me. I would rather be around people who are willing to explore, you know, try something new constantly, and especially people who are sure of themselves, you know?
Have you interviewed people now in your job?
Yes, I have interviewed a couple of people, and it was an interesting experience. I've interviewed people for other places as well. So,
Okay. What do you normally look into a personality when you want to hire those people for a job?
I like a comfortable personality. You know,
What do you mean by a comfortable personality?
someone who's able to, I would say, catch on quick. You know, that's what I look for.
A quick learner.
A quick learner, and also
Adaptable.
There we go. Someone who's like sure of themselves, one, because if you're comfortable within yourselves and you know that what you can do is what you can do and nothing, you know, can rattle you, that is very important to me. Because if you come in with a mindset of I don't know if I can do this and I don't know if I can do that, then naturally that puts me off, because it's not about the lack of training from my side. I'm willing to train anyone. It's always amazing. But if you have already come in with a weak mindset, it's going to be really shaky for you to, you know, hold on to the grasp or grasp what I'm saying, you know, and learn really fast, because, you know, it's a very fast-paced moving
Okay, other
environment.
than people, when you find out, you go to the brands mostly, and when you talk about their marketing, they have their own plans, and how you make them feel. Okay, whatever you're talking about and your team is talking about, that's good, and all of you are talking crap, and you need to do it very smilingly.
Yeah, it is a very difficult approach, but I think one of my prominent memories is probably with this specific brand. I won't name them,
Okay.
but I remember they were very persistent on following their own, you know, design codes and their design language. And I remember it was not working whatsoever. And at that time, mind you, I was an intern. And I had lost my mind at that point, because I was like, you know, I waited for you guys to understand what we're talking about. You don't want to understand. So I went to the meeting, and no one allowed me to go to the meeting, but I went there by force. I went to the meeting, I sat in front of them. My creative head was sitting next to me here, and the associate creative head was sitting right here. And I was the one, you know, just talking to them in a manner where I did an entire critical analysis and I presented it to them, market wise, everything. And, you know, I was like, you know, you guys are saying the right thing, but I want you to look at your competition. You know, let's look at this. We looked at it, we analyzed it, and at the end they were like, are you the creative head? And I was like, no. But I'm flattered. But then that's how, like, it's the persistence of making them understand that I would say it's a corporate language that you have to speak, right? In the sense that I agree with what you're saying. You know, you're completely right in what you feel and how you want to take your brand along. But there's other ideas we can explore. And, you know, if you're willing to explore those ideas, then naturally everything is going to go well. But I've also worked with brands that, you know, are very strict on what they follow and don't want to change anything. And I noticed how over time, without me even trying to make them realize that, the brand starts falling. And that's when they come back and they're like, you were right. And this has happened to me on multiple occasions. I can't name the brand, unfortunately. But
One question, Labeeqa. When you talk about creativity and innovating things, we say you need to be more daring in that regard.
very daring. You need to be extremely daring, because if you're not willing to take risks and, you know, think outside the box,
Creativity also comes with dare.
extreme dares, extreme risk. Because let's say I'm making a campaign for a brand. Okay. Now, we know giant brands like Crumble and the way they market themselves,
Yes.
and that's a giant dare. That's a giant risk they're taking. The way they started off with word of the mouth, then they went into marketing with, you know, such, you know, unfiltered language, unfiltered, you know, sayings. Look at their LinkedIn profiles, the way they reply to people. You know, those things are daring, because it might stick, it might not. You know, some audiences might accept that, some might not.
They have created that uniqueness.
And
What a brand
yeah,
is.
exactly. And now all brands can't follow that, right?
Yes.
It's always, whenever you start a campaign, it's always a risk. It might work, it might not work, you know, and we have to go along with that. But what the end result is that you learn from that experience that, okay, this is what the audiences picked up on, this is what they didn't pick up on. Now, when people say, how is this such a big risk? You know, one campaign can make or break your brand. And it's very simple because I can make a campaign where it's like, let's give free water to people, right? I'm saying let's give free water, but it's given in a plastic bottle. They're going to be like, how is this helping anyone? You're trying to do a good thing, but the environment, and then it can collapse on itself. And then people are going to be like, no, this brand isn't serious. They don't care about the environment, and it can switch up that way because the audiences are the judge, jury, and executioners. So if they aren't, comfortable with what you're doing and what you're executing, and if you aren't able to sell it to them the way they need it to be, because you just don't have a certain kind of demographic you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with brands like, in the food and beverages businesses, or even in the business to business, dealings. B2B. It's very difficult to, make a campaign that will be associated with the exact people that need to resonate with it. Now, food and beverages, very wide variety. There are kids, there are adults, there are women, there are men, there's a certain age demographic. There's more than that. There's a wide variety. So how do you round that all up and encompass it in one giant, 360 globe? So that is how, the risks and the dares come about, and that's how the campaigns have to stick.
Okay.
And that's
when you just create a campaign in this regard, and what is you talk about the dare, number one, you talk about the 360 degrees, that how to look at all those things, you need to see the comparators, and what is that particular one unique idea that everyone should talk about as far as the campaigning or the branding is concerned?
Unique idea in the sense...
Unique means that anything, you were talking about Crumble, and you're talking about all the other people. I was just talking about that particular one name. Josefa was the
Josefa, yeah.
Josefa was the name.
Amazing. I love his stuff.
He became a celebrity by just selling Crumble.
And what did he use? His phone.
His phone, yes.
And that's it. And that's what the creative... But what is the unique idea? The unique idea is an identity. That's what a brand needs. A personality is what a brand needs. Now, if I'm selling shirts, for instance, for a brand, let's say called Kashukuma or something, right? I'm selling shirts for them, but at the same time, that brand has no identity. There's no speaking, but they just post stuff, They just say, this is our stuff, buy it, But there's no connection, there's no intimacy, and that is what really is required in this field when you're trying to advertise and market yourself, especially now. Because, I understand one thing, which is that brands can be like, we don't need creatives, we can do it with AI. But the AI does not have human intimacy. Yes. It doesn't have human connection. And, those things are very, very important because, the other day I was on LinkedIn and I saw this post where it was this woman who posted a picture, she felt sick or something. She sent an email to her boss that I'm not feeling well. She got a reply back and the boss had written the reply with the AI chatbot, right? So I saw that, and you see that naturally lost its human intimacy, its human connection. And once a brand does that, then it's too hollow to follow.
Well, talking about AI, there was one of a lady, she just called me and she said, I am so lonely that I've started talking to AI. And AI is providing me with all the details. I've talked about my kids, I've talked about the people around me, I've talked about my colleagues, and now AI knows everything.
Amazing.
And I am like, okay, in a country like Pakistan where people are willing to listen to you or talk about you are talking about AI here.
I feel like this is self-proclaimed loneliness that people like to put themselves in. But I also give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe there's certain things that, you feel like other people can't understand. And, AI is your only hope. But at the same time, it's very dystopian. Oh. It's very dystopian.
Okay. They're talking about your name. As I said, we'll start off with the creativity. Yeah. The Labeeqa with the letters that you have.
Yeah.
So we'll start with L. So what is the word that comes to your mind with L?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. A.
Amazing.
Amazing. B.
Brilliance.
Brilliant. E.
Education.
Okay. E.
Excellence.
Excellent. And then Q.
Quality.
Quality. And A.
Ambiguity.
About to start with the things and to know people.
Yeah.
Understand
everything. All in one.
Okay, you did just highlight emotions here. Why not?
I don't think emotionally. I find it redundant. And
let's take it in this way. When we talk about the ones, what is that optimism that you have in your mind that everything would be okay with the O? Are you optimistic?
Very optimistic, extremely. But I'm also very pessimistic, I would say. It's a good balance that one needs.
It's a good, okay.
Yeah.
So what are you normally optimistic about? That these things, it would happen like this, that the way that you're thinking?
I'm optimistic in the way that once I've done something, I know I've done it right. If that makes more sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. And then N is for niche. What is that that saying or that I think the characteristic that makes you different from all the other people or your contemporaries?
That's really interesting. I would say what makes me different is probably the amount of logic I use in everything and self-awareness. Might be weird to say, but I feel like that is what separates me from a lot of people.
More logic.
Yeah.
More logic there.
Yeah.
Everything that you think.
Everything I do, it's very logic, like not emotions based. I would focus on logic.
There is one saying that I normally say to all the students that heart is always at your left side, but it speaks the right thing. Do you believe in that?
I do feel like your heart tells you a lot, but
We don't say mera damag cha raha hai. We always say mera dil cha raha hai. So, how can you? Do you agree with this statement that heart is on the left side, but it speaks the right thing?
yes, I do believe that your heart can tell you a lot, and you should always follow your heart, of course. It's like, for me, it's more like a gut feeling.
Okay, great. Then E, we come up with the emotions or the energy. And the energy that you said it's more positive. That is, you take it out.
Yeah.
And S is, what is success to you?
Success is comfort, content. It's basically,
Can you explain that comfort and content? Two C's.
yeah, I would love to just sit down and be able to help everyone around me, if that makes sense, and that's my comfort and that's my success. That if I'm able to spend without thinking and, anyone around me, I can make them feel as comfortable as I am. That's success. That's content. And I don't need anything more than that. So people might be like, I want to be rich. I want the 50th apartment on the New York building. But those are all materialistic things and they will all fall eventually. Nothing lasts forever. But once you're able to sit down with everything that you've made, and be like, I don't need anything more than this.
Okay, just seeing a person like you are talking, a person like you who believes in more logic. So when you be identifying or you'll be just seeing about a person that who wants to be your life partner, it would be a logic or more heart.
Logic.
So logically, what would you just see in that person?
To be fair, I've never thought about it. I feel, for me, it's like, if a person like that comes in front of me, then naturally what happened, right? I don't have to put.
So it means that you believe in love at first sight. You can just go there. वो दिल ने उसी तरह ही ज़्यादा धड़कना शुरू किया, and then you say, he's the right one.
I mean, if I was born in Netflix rom-coms, then probably.
Talking about your vision, for example, it takes 10 years and 15 years of your life. What do you think that you'll be doing?
I feel like I would probably be sitting in a giant office with multiple secretaries and looking down at, the success that I've made of myself. But at the same time, I feel like, just somewhere where I'm comfortable, where I want to achieve, which is, just, I don't even know what, like, in 15 years I want to achieve. It's weird. I don't plan anything.
Okay, you go with the flow.
Very much. Whatever comes, I do it. I don't have to think too much 10 years into the future of this is what I want to become. I feel like it's very crazy.
Any person in the industry that you work in that who has inspired you a lot with work, with personality, or with wisdom?
With work, yeah, I feel like my first boss, genuinely. When I worked in Emirates, my boss at the time was very, very logical, and the way he handled situations, the way he went about situations, it was very fast paced and very detail orientated, and those things, when you have someone superior that is handling not just his own office, but multiple different offices in that region of different countries and not losing even a second of, time,
Really?
which is important to me.
Any message that you'll be giving to the people here, the viewers who are watching us, the people of your age, the people younger than you, and the people elder than you, that what should they do in order to be the one of their lives?
Don't give up. And keep yourself paced because there's a lot to come. You know, we all start off slow, but there's so much life ahead of us, you, me, everyone, you know. And for that reason, I feel like if you aren't pacing yourself and if you aren't taking care of yourself in these situations, it's not going to pan out. But don't give up, you know, and be confident. If you know you can do something, tell everyone and scream it at the top of your lungs that you can.
Thank you very much, Labeeqa. It was a pleasure knowing you. It was a pleasure identifying your diversity, just moving across with your focus and the creativity that you have. It's good. And I think that you are a more serious person, but I think that putting a smile on your face and coming up on the one either lead, that is the achievement that we can create. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today was Labeeqa, and Labeeqa very wisely said about that adding value in people's life and comforting oneself with whatever you want to do. This is the main mantra of success that people mostly forget. I believe that in order to be the one, you need to be the person who never gives up. And this is what Labeeqa said. And I believe that logics, find a logic of your life, that how you take up it, and with your heart start working on that logic, and you'll be the one of your life. So inshallah ta'ala, next time we'll come up with another the one at Rise and Lead with Haseeb Khan. Take care. Pakistan Zindabad.